Yo, what's happening everybody, King GBL here and welcome back to a brand new Go League video. In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the new best flyer in the Great League. In my personal opinion, you might be surprised to hear that, but I think that Altaria is a better option than NOCTOWL. And actually, we're going to be running this team with NOCTOWL. This is a variation of the best team in PV Poke, which is Swampert, Pidgeot, and NOCTOWL. I think running Altaria is better as a safe swap. Altaria beats everything that it's supposed to beat. You're going to destroy flyers, fighting types, you'll even have better matches against things like Swampert. But the key thing here is, it'll beat Pelipper, it'll beat NOCTOWL, it'll beat Pidgeot, it beats Gliscor. This Pokemon is the flyer that beats other flyers and also beats Lanturn. So if you safe swap this Pokemon and the opponent's best answer is Lanturn, you can flip that matchup and get your Swampert on the Registeel or their Stunfisk, or whatever steel type the opponent's using. If you somehow lose against Lanturn with Altaria, you will then have Swampert to come in and farm it down with Mudshot. So this team is very, very strong. And of course, NOCTOWL is just so bulky and so OP, and you're going to see here in a Registeel matchup that Registeel has to be very careful about NOCTOWL. I don't say this every single video, but you need to try this team out. If you're looking to gain elo, this is one of the best teams you can possibly run in the Great League. Really quickly before we get into the video, hit that like button, it's absolutely free, and of course subscribe to the channel. We're on the way to 2k subs, and I'd very much appreciate having you guys here. We have a growing Discord community, feel free to join up if you want to do some practice battles and get to know the community here. We were doing some practice battles yesterday for the Blaziken video with Jamie Finn and all of the Discord members, and we're going to be doing some Discord tournaments quite soon, so definitely check that out. Without any further ado, let's hop into these battles here. The first couple of battles are with Scrafty, which I went 2 out of 5 with, and then I swapped out to this team and had a really positive set, where I was actually forcing the opponent to top left quite a lot. Scrafty is ranked top 3 in PV Poke, but I think it's like one of those Sim Warrior Pokemon, which is a little bit like Pidgeot in the Ultra League, where it's like, you can only win if certain things happen. You know, so on paper it looks good, but in practice, you know, things can happen a little bit differently, and it doesn't quite work out. Right here, they threw the Psycho Boost, and they actually threw the Thunderbolt second, which is interesting. And we farm up to the back-to-back Surf, and they cannot get to another move here at this point. We're going to take them out here. And like I said, we went 2 and 5 with Scrafty. I think it has potential because, of course, Bastiodon's floating around quite a lot. So what you need to do is, if you don't have a really positive lead, like if you don't get a Steel type in the lead, basically, you swap into one of your 2 flyers. In this occasion, I decided to swap into NOCTOWL because the hexes are resisted, and it will force the opponent to swap out here to the Registeel. So we wanted to make sure to just basically draw out their Steel type, and that's exactly what we've done here. Now these Shadow Balls are going to start adding up, and the opponent's going to fire off a Zap Cannon here, which will probably get a debuff. It almost one-shots the NOCTOWL, and it just is so how overpowered NOCTOWL is. It can even survive a super effective Zap Cannon. We go for a Shadow Ball here, and the opponent is going to get the farm down, or so they think, ladies and gents, because we do reach the Shadow Ball just in time, and we will take out the Registeel. The opponent basically absolutely threw that right there, and we're going to come in with Altaria here. At this point, I do have to respect the Shadow Balls, but I'm willing, at this point I was thinking, I'm going to double shield this Pokemon, because I think that we've got their hardest answer out of the way with Registeel, and I think that if we get this Jellicent out of the way, Altaria is going to basically roam free in the back. So I decided to throw off a Moonblast, see if the opponent wants to let us take them out. The opponent shields it, so I'm like, right, time to swap out. They might have something that I need this for in the back, and I'm thinking like there's just no way that they're double weak to Swampert in the back. That would be ridiculous, but they are double weak to Swampert in the back, so I'm like, right, okay. So this is working out fine. The opponent probably should have stayed in there, and we get off a Hydro Cannon, and we're even going to get off another one here. I think the opponent was just at the move, and will they shield it up? They do decide to let it go, and that basically denies everything from them. Now this is getting a little bit sketchy. We go for the Hydro Cannon, the opponent still has a shield, and this is getting a little bit scary here. We come in with Altaria, the opponent's already got a move loaded. Jellicent is so bulky, therefore it doesn't really do the most damage. The opponent sees the writing on the wall, they're not going to be able to get to another Shadow Ball. They probably could have surfed me there, but a Shadow Ball was a little bit out of their reach, and good games right there. We get a negative lead here, we're going to come into Altaria, and the opponent comes into Lanturn, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. I didn't come into NOCTOWL because NOCTOWL's the hardest answer to Trevenant, so we want to keep the NOCTOWL for Trevenant, and we lured out the Lurantis, the Lanturn. We're going to go ahead and throw off the Dazzling Gleam here. Usually the opponents don't shield these. You should be running Moonblast, by the way, but Dazzling Gleam, you can get some work done with it. So the opponent goes for Thunderbolt, and we're just going to farm it the whole way down. We lost a shield there, but it's definitely well worth it to get alignment. And in comes NOCTOWL, guys. This is not simple for NOCTOWL, folks. This is what you're about to see here. Like, the opponents, they are chipping us down, but look at this, we've already got them down to about 45% health. And I'm like, no way, you know what? I'm getting a shield off you, and I'm going to continue farming you down with Dragon Breath. Dragon Breath is so oppressive. The opponent is shielded up here, and they do eventually get the farm down. We come in with Swampert, knowing that we've got the NOCTOWL super low. We can go for a Hydro Cannon, and I'm expecting the opponent actually to swap out right here. The opponent swaps out, we swap out, and we can just basically farm this the whole way down. come out with 2 moves, and basically guarantee the win against NOCTOWL. So GG's to the opponent there. They just top left because they know there's literally nothing they can do against this team. So as the opponent, you're like, yes, we got a positive lead, we got a Swampert. We come in with our flyer, they're like, yes, we've got a flyer. But Altaria is just hitting different against the Lanturns. I guess, like, you know, some teams you could possibly have an issue against is like double steel, but you know, there's a weakness for every team. Of course, you're a little bit softer to ice, but like, I mean, you lose to ice types anyway. So like having a double weakness to your actual weakness that you would have with NOCTOWL and Pidgeot anyway is a sacrifice I'm willing to take for the extra coverage that Altaria gives. So right here, I decide I want to chip the Altaria and go into my own here. I want to sort of chip it because they will likely fire off the Dazzling Gleam and we'll get the entire farm down here. I want to try to maintain switch advantage here. That's why I threw off the damage first to make it a little bit more comfortable for me to farm down. And if the opponent is shield, we can start firing off sky attacks at that point. We just fire off a couple of sky attacks on this, just to try and chip it down a little bit, maybe get it into Hydro Cannon range. The opponent here is going to go for a Focus Blast. I'm actually surprised that took out, to be honest, and in comes Swampert. It is Swampert time. The opponent's already below 50% health, so I don't need to like build up to an Earthquake and bait or anything. I can just get off this damage, and if the opponent even does take me out, I'm calling a Zap Cannon right here as well. If the opponent does take me out, we can just come in with NOCTOWL. Like, I was happy to go in there and go for the farm down. I expected the switch, and we come in with our NOCTOWL. We farm up to 7 for good timing, and Dragalge knows Aquatail, and something else that I'm not aware of. I never faced this Pokemon. I decided to shield this up because I do want to chip it down a little bit more, make it a little bit more manageable for Swampert. At the very least, if we can get the final shield off it, we might be able to take it out with Swampert. And at that point, I'm happy enough. The opponent lets it go. They're going to fire off probably an Aquatail here, hoping to take me out. That is not enough to take out NOCTOWL. We go for another Sky Attack. I think the opponent's basically forced to shield. And at this point, we're only one off a Hydro Cannon. We go straight for it. The opponent wasn't fast enough in swapping out there. They maybe could have caught that in the Reggie. And in comes Reggie. I thought that was a move that was about to get off there. It lagged right at the end. I was getting a little bit scared. I thought I'd lost it there, but so far so good, guys. As you're seeing, like, this team is just working super well. Of course, we had a very positive lead that time, and you know, it was pretty straightforward after you know, the opponent swaps out and everything. But if you do see an like, let's say if that does happen, I do recommend, you know, chipping on the Altaria, because of course if they swap out first, they'll get ahead on energy, and you do need to sort of make it comfortable and make it possible for your own Altaria to take switch advantage. Now, in comes Escalivalier. I was playing this quite a lot, so I know the counts on this perfectly, and I decided to catch the Drill Run on the Altaria. The opponent's not going to be too happy here, because that almost added health to my Pokemon there. It done that little damage, and in comes the Lanturn. Again, we're seeing the exact same sort of pattern here. We're shielding up the first Thunderbolt. They usually go for the Thunderbolt straight away, and if we commit a shield, we win this match usually. We're going to fire off the Dazzling Gleam here. No reason to be it, honestly, against Lanturn. They can't eat a move, and at this point, we can farm it down. Now, we can't eat one Thunderbolt on this thing. From full health, you could eat 2, but as you can see, it gets you pretty low. Now, at this point, they're going to come in with Escavalier, and yeah, they're just in an absolute shambles right here. We go for the Sky Attack, which of course they've got a joint bug typing, which would be neutral damage. And from my experience, yeah, so they see the NOCTOWL, and they're like, nope, they're double weak to NOCTOWL or something. Or they've got it like a Steel type in the back that's weak to Swampert. I think they just realized they couldn't win. They could go for Mega Horn there, which of course is resisted by the flying typing, and Drill Runs would do nothing, so good games to the opponent there. But you're seeing the power of that. It just works super well. Now, this is a positive lead. The opponent swaps out. We swap out to our Altaria. Altaria beats NOCTOWL. And is the opponent going to top left? Yep, goodbye. This is what I'm saying about this team, guys. We're 4 out of 5 here so far. And the opponent's just, you know, like, the way this team works is just so perfect. Or, like, as you've seen in the Trevenant match, if you can draw out their Lanturn with your Altaria, you can win that match, and then you have NOCTOWL, which is basically Trevenant's biggest enemy. Or like any sort of grass type that would be countering, of course, Swampert. Swampert into Frostlass. Swampert wins this matchup right here, but Frostlass would be a big problem for the back Pokemon. So I'm expecting the opponent to catch here. They do not. So I just overfarm. I'm willing to commit shields here, just to allow my flyers to be free in the back. The opponent makes a nice catch here in Jellicent, and this is slightly annoying. The opponent left on 2 Powder Snows, and they just kept that in the back of my mind. Farmed up a little bit extra to have the Hydro Cannon loaded, so that we can still outpace that whenever it comes back in. Now, here's the problem with Jellicent. That we basically resist everything, and Surfs just do not do that much damage. At this point, what I decide to do is let the opponent get me quite low as well, before throwing a move. I throw after 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I throw after 3 because I was about to hit 100 energy, so I could have just thrown after 1 there. And I want to actually get a farm down with this thing as well. Now, this Surf will not take out, and we should be in a really good position here, where we've basically got the back-to-back sky attacks. The opponent is getting me very, very low here, and the opponent will be forced to shield this up. Even if it was just a sky attack, they should be shielding this. Unfortunately, we don't get the move off, and the opponent's up to about 4 powder snows, if I remember correctly here. We're going to come in with Swampert, 1, 2, and yeah, we actually throw off the Hydro Cannon right here. This would threaten to almost take it out. The opponent's farming up extra, and we're going to shield this up, and we're going to respect it. We don't want this on Altaria for 1 second. This is the problem with Altaria, like, it's got a double weakness to ice, so you do have to protect it against the ice types. The opponent lets that go, and I'm like, yep, Altaria's free, time to come in here. In comes Obstagoon. Now, Obstagoon is very, very spammy, and we'll get to these Night Slashes, and we're just praying and hoping they don't get a boost. I'm just farming up here as much as possible, not trying to throw a move until we're basically at the back-to-back, as to not give them any free energy. We do throw here eventually, because I'm thinking this might start getting a little bit close. The opponent does let that go, which is, you know, they weren't going to win it anyway, to be fair. They would have needed to, you know, get another couple of moves, and then Swampert would probably outpace and win CMP anyway, so very unlucky team for the opponent there. And GG's guys, we went 5-0 with this team. Like I said, we went a 2 out of 5 using Scrafty, Altaria and Lanturn, and 5-0 with this team, so very, very positive, and I highly recommend checking out this team. Guys, if you want to see more videos like this with the best teams, also like spicy teams, and generally just a ton of fun videos, hit that subscribe button, guys. It is absolutely free, and hit that subscribe button, guys, and thank you everybody so much for the support in these videos. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And I'll catch you all next time for a brand new video.